Need to make sure to not look at my hands or my drink while I'm talking because that's a tendency I have. I totally spilled coffee all over my shirt though.
Yes, you certainly did.
Visible, but on the camera it's totally black.
Super noticeable.
Gavel?
Yeah, gavel.
Gavel. Good deal.
Amarillo Rocks.
Let's go.
Surprise episode because I can do whatever the hell I want. This man needs no introduction. We'll call him Mr. Bronco.
That works for me.
Mr. Bronco.
How are you, Tooley?
What do you prefer?
On stage, that's the thing is I kind of came out from under a rock and everything that I started and did kind of everything's come organically. So whenever I have this persona now that I give myself on stage, I call myself James Bronco, but I'm not well established enough. So pretty much everyone that knows me by my name as just me. I'm Jimmy Thompson. Let's get the awkwardness out of the way. As an artist on stage, I am James Bronco, who is a persona I have because the music I do intrinsically is incredibly dark and reflective, and in this kind of way, I don't have to completely internalize everything I've gone through. I have someone who can deal with it, and then me, I can have my own life and be okay.
It's kind of fun being a character.
Absolutely.
Being a caricature of yourself.
Yes.
I myself have done that for a number of years now.
Mm-hmm.
Such to the point where I've just about thought about drawing up papers to ditch my first name and be one of those one-name guys, you know. Most people don't know my first name. Some of them do. Some of you guys do.
Is it not Tool?
Tooley is my last name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all together.
Yeah. No.
I thought it was like an Italian or French thing that you just kind of put together.
Oh.
I thought it was Tooley.
Tooley.
And then we're in Texas and no one can pronounce that, so it's Tooley.
That is a...
Or toilet if you're doing autosaving.
So your phone will correct it to toilet, which I'm a huge fan of.
I am too. The first time I heard that joke, I had to try it, and
fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bazinga!
Yeah. We have a soundboard that I may or may not. I should plug it into the board too. I guess I could.
That might be a good thing, but I mean that's the same level our voices on,
yeah,
so
it's fine.
It's all right.
It's noises. So tell us what you got going on. So we've been having a conversation all damn day, and what it boiled down to is we should be fucking podcasting this, instead of sitting there having this conversation. We should record our private conversation and share it with the world.
Well, that's kind of what happened last night. You were drunk enough to invite me over to hang out, which I was incredibly honored to do. I've wanted to come over here and be on this for a while. It's oh man, when am I going to be good enough to be on the Amarillo Rocks podcast?
Oh, you've been good enough. No, I'm just hideously disorganized, disenfranchised. I don't know what the word is. I have a marginal work ethic.
On top of that, you've taken such a weight on yourself, not only as a responsibility weighing on you in the background, where it's I want to contribute to Amarillo artists. But you're working on your own project.
Metaphorical weight, yeah.
Yeah.
I have put on some COVID weight though too. I mean that's.
Oh, we all have. Yeah.
Well, not you, man. You've removed the COVID weight.
Man, I removed the COVID weight and a lot more, but that was something where it was. I've been putting on weight in a long time because while I was doing songwriting, I was also living in a way that would take me into a steep grave because that's all I really cared about at the time.
Yeah.
And it was the COVID got me to a point where it was so much. It was I reached a point I told myself years ago I wasn't going to get to again, and I did something to retract that. Plus, I was working a manual labor job, and when you're 300 plus, it's just not comfortable.
Oh, it's brutal.
It's not comfortable standing or having a conversation with someone.
I've lived that life where I've dunked powdered donuts into my glass of whiskey, and don't knock it till you try it, folks.
No, not at all. But I was at a point where I wish I had a powdered donut in between the whiskeys so I'd be sober enough to tell myself I need to go home.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case a lot.
Yes, we all certainly have our demons. I remember one time Jimmy here showed up through my back door. He still doesn't remember it, I don't think.
No, I do remember, and the reason I the reason I showed up through the back door was because I tried passing out on the front porch, and I was like, it's fucking cold. I'm going to see if the back door's open. Came all the way through, and Mrs. It was really like that. I slammed the door open. I'm like, hey. And there was Mrs. Tooley Cat, for everyone that doesn't know.
Miss Kitty Cat Jones, yes.
She looked up, and she was just like, what? It was funny because she had the blanket over. It was incredibly dramatic. Exactly how do you expect on movie?
Yeah, she did the Scarlet O'Hara. Love you, baby. Yeah.
And just walked through, and I saw you. I mean, it's really just like shadows and characters because it's not all a perfect picture like thing. I think I tried talking to you to explain myself, and you're like, lay down.
Yeah.
Because even though I woke up the next morning, like those are two specific separate memories where I feel like there had been a long time lapse in between. But I remember waking up and the sun's coming through and there's a nice blanket across the window, and I feel like I'm like in a hippie phase where it's like Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles playing because it's a beautiful scene where I'm waking up to. But I'm so fucking hungover, I don't know what fucking day it is or where I'm at. I'm like, what the fuck happened? And you're kicking me in the shin saying, get up, you gotta go. Like, all right. Cool.
I've gone to great lengths to make sure my friends stay alive.
I appreciate it.
One of those things. I think that was a particularly dark time.
It
We're going to
very
talk
much
about
was.
that. The dark times are behind us.
Yeah.
2021 is going to prove to be a more exciting. Let me maybe not put it that way.
2021 has the potential to do everything that we expected 2020 to be. Everyone said at the very beginning, this is going to be my decade. This is where it's going to start. Yeah. Everyone actually fed into it, and I was included in that, where, may the tears of 2019 water the seeds that you planted for the next year and grow into something beautiful. That's something I learned this year specifically, is it's not about finding something better. Grass is green wherever you decide to water it. It doesn't matter what side of the yard or lawn it's on.
And it's almost legal in Texas. Getting there.
Almost. I mean, no one cares anyway.
Yes. Uncut. Yeah. Amarillo Rocks will not be responsible for the statements, qualitative or quantitative.
Yeah, there should definitely be a mature content. Sign before this, because especially getting into my music,
A little bit.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Okay.
Let's talk about the music. So we took a stab at tracking some stuff today. What was that song?
That song is called Better Man.
Better Man.
That was the third song I had wrote, and it was specifically as an apology to friendships and relationships that I had messed up in one way or another.
I see.
Yeah. It's everything I've done. When it's come to music very much was my way out of living a lifestyle that I knew was going to kill me, because I was actively trying to do it, because making actual attempts myself had failed. And I was like, well, if I can't do it right away, then I will do the long approach to it and live a life that gets into it. And then living, it was, okay, I don't want to continue living this way, but I need an outlet. And I got back into music again after years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So between, like, say, what percentage of your life would you say has been divided between music and pro wrestling?
As far as pro wrestling goes, I'd say pro wrestling took up a fifth or a sixth of my life. But in relation to what's been going on, I'm not that old. Right. So I'm 27 now. 4 years was absolutely dedicated to professional wrestling. So that's the 1/6 of my life. But I would say that 3/6 of my life has been obsessed in one way or another towards music.
To you math majors, 3/6 is also half.
Yes.
Sorry. But, well, I've known you from the scene for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Anyway, 2-3 years, something like that.
You've known me for about 2 years. I've been drinking. We're friends by being acquaintances at the same bar.
2.5 years, because I remember that first summer, because you were. I remember I found you in my phone. I was looking for your number, and you're still listed under Metalhead Jimmy, because I didn't know. I just long hair. It was a blanket.
So that was actually 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we went to a party somewhere, and we were at a bar somewhere, and I think we ended up going to Squirrely's house, and then we went somewhere. I can't remember who all was with us.
Yeah.
Blackwell and those guys were with us, I
Yeah.
think. And, yeah. Oh, Dude Man was playing somewhere that night. That might have been during
It was the art exhibition.
Yeah.
That was 2.5 years ago. That's where it was the Metalhead connection got made. And yeah, that's pretty much what that was. Or was it? I don't think it was 2 years ago. It was a year and a half ago.
That's.
Yeah.
I've got my own alternate timeline running along, and I.
Doing the math together, because the second anniversary of that art show was during this year, which was earlier this year. And 1 year before that is when you and I officially met. So it's been a year and a half.
It's been longer than that, because I've known you since before Cat came on. My kitty cat moved here
Right.
2 years ago today. Happy anniversary, baby.
I saw that too. Happy anniversary to both of you.
Thanks.
I'm really glad you're happy. It's
Dude,
good.
life is a sheet cake of victory. It
You're
feels
not
pretty
lying. You're not lying.
Anyway, so musically, I know you had done a few like open mics and things like that, and I know you've been here numerous times. You know, just jamming on the porch and stuff like that. And you've the shit COVID hit the fan. You were slated to go to South by
Yes, sir.
and play a show somewhere in there.
I was going to be playing at a venue called Shiner Saloon, or right in the middle of Austin, right on 6th Street and everything. The booker that promoted it, he worked for South by, but he wanted to do entertainment outside of the actual festival itself. He wanted to make sure all the actual bars and everything. So I was going to be at a at a songwriter showcase, playing Friday and Saturday during the weekend of South by. For that, with a professional camera crew, they were going to record my music and the songs that I'd written to play, and it was going to be like this big thing, because it was going to be my first like actual gig.
Right.
You know, it's not like, okay, I'm going to play at a local bar. Just like, you know, here's like 7 or 8 people playing at a variety show, and here's your spot for like 3 songs. It was, I've got a gig. You're going to come see me and what I have to offer. And unfortunately, 2020, I can't remember the actual dates of that weekend, but that Friday, I could have performed in Austin. But the Saturday, as soon as it hit midnight, that's when everything was going to be canceled. So I would have only had that one day. And I had so many like friends and backers and people that believed in me to help like invest into this.
Yeah.
Because the gig came along last second. I had started working at the Big Texan, playing music there for it's a tourist attraction.
Right.
We have the big stake there. There's people playing old cowboy songs, and I was one of them. And I happened to got that gig, and there was a family that came through, and they really enjoyed my voice. And one of the guys said, "Hey, do you write your own stuff?" I said, "Yeah, that's what I'm doing. This is like paid practice for me being here."
Right.
And he's like, "Well, I'm the booker for South by Southwest, and let me have your number."
Wow.
Yeah. And it was literally just like that. It was one of those random, like the dream occurrence kind of situation where it's like, I don't know where I'm going to get my big break. I'd gotten it.
Yeah.
And it was last second. So much so that getting rooms for the 2 days in the cheapest place we could find that was appropriate for us to be able to get to and from the venue in a timely manner was $1,000.
Yo. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I had friends of mine, because I mean, we're in Texas, like people work really hard, and they have money and feasible to do it. So people had invested in me financially for my motel, for my travel. I wouldn't have even had to pay for my food, but I can't ask that of people. I just have, my friends are way too good to me.
Well, you had a lot of people backing you up that,
Yeah.
I get it.
But that's the great thing about Amarillo and the music scene here is it's like when you and Elton were speaking, from Dude Man and Silver Bullet and Dude Dashman and the Moody Joshes. At this point, like I'm just making a joke whenever I see Elton. It's like Moody Fitch and the Silver Joshes, or something with all of those words. I make my own rambled little every time they go on.
Elton has a revolving door of musicians.
Absolutely.
Falls into his
But
musical
Elton
circus.
is such a great and talented writer and musician. He needs people to be able to carry that weight, because he does it himself, because it's organic and natural. This is a part of him. But to ask another group or venue or anyone to carry that weight and say like, yes, I will remember this whole catalog and continue playing all of it full through, you couldn't ask out of somebody unless it came with like an actual contract and it's like, okay, here's our movement. Or if they invested into it themselves and be like, yeah, I'm a part of this, let's go, let's make something else, because all the musicians here are more than talented enough to do that. And especially as a creator like Elton is, it just takes them to say, okay, I've got everything memorized, let's get it all together, let's get into a studio or invest into a studio time to get all this stuff and set out. Because I've seen people traveling in other states and other venues larger than what we have in Amarillo that aren't nearly as talented. I think the biggest issue with Amarillo musicians is that they don't see the value they have themselves, because they have quite a bit of value, and they are more than
like we
good
were saying
enough.
earlier too, man.
Yeah.
Facilities, just having
Absolutely.
a place to do it. Right now gigging is sketchy.
Yeah.
Having a studio is, it's a godsend to me.
Yeah.
But so I understand, that
Yeah.
it comes from a place of knowledge. I've done this a long time.
Yeah.
And
that's
it's
really just-
frustrating. I mean, it's just like it's an endless track full of hurdles, that you
For sure.
And
And that's kind of the biggest thing, and that's not really knowledge from music. That's knowledge from wrestling. It's if you're in a performance art of any kind, whether you're doing professional opera or you're doing jazz as a gigging musician, if you're doing professional wrestling, if you are doing acrobatics in a circus, if you are a gigging musician or want to be someone who gigs, all it takes is doing that next step to get you into a circuit. But literally that next step for a lot of people is a killer. And especially during COVID times, what I've seen blowing up, and I love the fact that it has, is on YouTube specifically, a lot of people that I look up to as songwriters and artists, it's like, okay, let's make a little video with some mics. I've got an acoustic guitar, I have vocals, I have a camera. That's all I need. And with that alone, they're able to do this, and it just racks up millions and millions and millions of videos.
I've seen it happen, man.
Yeah.
I've seen some. Her name's Tash something.
Oh, Tash the Tom. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That girl's amazing, and she uses a looper pedal and a guitar.
Yeah.
And she just glam out of nowhere.
And of all the places that she's from is New Zealand.
Yeah. I think it was
Yeah.
Australia, New Zealand, something like
Tash Sultana.
that. Sultana, yes. Amazing chick. Super
Oh,
amazing.
she's incredible.
And so, that keeps the hope alive,
Well,
that-
for
that this
like
can be done.
YouTube channels, because I know that she did the Tiny Desk competition thing, or not the competition. She was just big enough that she'd gotten on there. But I would look up like channels like Gems on VHS is a YouTube channel where they find little small independent folk singers and songwriters who are incredible writers that capture this thing, like I tried to capture my own thing. They absolutely did that. And then Western AF, and there's a just guys talking about like I'm doing the van life, and a song that captures it. Because what I do with my genre is I consider myself a country western artist,
Okay.
which is hilarious. Because if you told me that 2 years ago, I would have smacked you in the face.
Yeah.
It's like, what? No, I was a jazz musician and I was a metalhead and everything. But at the root of what I do now with my songwriting is it's been storytelling,
Yep.
which is it's at my root raised on my childhood. My dad was an old cowboy, and so my songwriting inspirations that I have internalized, of the big old songwriters that you could think of, Merle Haggard, I found out is my biggest inspiration. I thought it was Johnny Cash or Willie Nelson, and they've had inspiration.
Can't go wrong with Merle.
No, not at all, because he was an amazing storyteller. But then it's get into Roger Miller and Ernest Tubb and Tom T. Hall and people that are so old that unless you're speaking to like your grandparents, they might not remember that name. And whenever you do bring it up, it's like, I haven't heard that in a minute.
Isn't Roger Miller from Amarillo?
I wouldn't know.
Who sang the theme song from the original Disney Robin Hood?
That's Roger Miller.
That's Roger. Okay, so he's from Amarillo.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, he worked at it's Roger Miller. He was a fireman who wrote songs, and he worked at the fire station across the street from my mom's house when she was a kid.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I finally
North
met Terry.
Fairfield.
I finally met Terry Funk a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, no kidding.
Like he was like, I remember coming to Amarillo, and my dad would tell me stories as a kid, especially after I told him I was interested in professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he was in Amarillo around the age I am now,
Mm-hmm.
and he would come and he would see the Funks in their prime. He would see Terry and there's Terry, and then the others,
Dory Funk.
Dory and Dory Jr.
Yeah.
And Terry is actually younger than my dad is. My dad's passed now. He passed
Oh, I didn't know.
a year and a
Oh,
couple
yeah, I
months
didn't know
ago.
that. I knew that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's everyone dies,
Yeah.
but
That's what they tell you.
that's what I found out.
But
Seen
no
it a
one
couple
truly
times.
dies. We just leave this mortal coil behind for the
Right.
next one.
And
And
yet,
I'm
in
gonna say
life,
that
when it
until I'm
comes to
proven
that,
otherwise.
and yet when it comes to that, it's funny. Like it's because that's kind of like the basis of where my songwritings come from, is how much I've seen it just in person and internalized it for so long.
Hey, Bubba.
Hey, kitty cat.
Be on TV.
Is she
bro.
on frame yet? Oh, there she is. She or he.
That'd be a he.
This wouldn't be a he.
Guys, this is Nuke, Dr. Nuketown, the cat. He's the studio cat. He's my buddy.
I'm gonna call him Duke just because I can.
Yeah.
Duke
Nukes
Nukem.
and Hazards. Fuck, my mom used to babysit for those guys.
For the Funks?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I
crazy.
can't remember something she told me a long time when she was a kid.
Yeah.
They're all Northsiders, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Or were now Terry's closer to Lake Tinglewood on the south side.
If you think so. I don't know.
I mowed his lawn actually at one point. I was working for a landscaping company, and they're like, "This is Terry Funk's lawn." I was like, "You're
Oh.
fucking kidding me." Is it a little cat? I still don't believe that this is a real cat. I think this is animatronic. He looks
Yeah.
reminds me too much of Salem from the
He's
original
a-
Sabrina.
He's a spy. He's a spy
Definitely.
cat. It definitely kills squirrels and birds and
Right.
everything else just to maintain.
That's why you don't get FBI notifications on your phone, is because it's all right
maintain
here.
the facade.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I believe that's the first cat appearance on Amarillo Rocks. So red letter date in the calendar.
Okay.
So spiraling conversation. The song Better Man. Do you have an EP? Yeah, I know you need to record, but like, how many would you say you've got ready to go out? Out the door.
Out the door that I can put out right now for sure is 4 songs. 4
Okay.
songs that
It's
are
an EP.
yeah, 4 songs that are solid. It's just 2 of them I'm absolutely positive and sure of. The other 2 are there, but I'm not. It's like if I was to say, "Here is my music," I wouldn't. Yeah, I feel like every person, whenever they write an album, like say a full length album, has a couple songs that are fillers.
Sure.
Because I'm new as a songwriter. I have lots of ideas, not a lot that have been completed, and these were completed. And it was practice for me as a songwriter to build my craft, but it's not ones where I'm going to say, "Hey, listen to this," because it's
So you
even
got 4 done and probably 40 in the works. Is that how that
Yeah.
works? Yeah. Well, what we'll probably do is we'll have him play one of those here in a little bit. We're not done talking yet.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm flying by the seat of my pants here, guys.
Yeah.
We're unscripted. We're just talking.
Yeah.
So.
You're doing really good though. Like I see what you're doing. Like we probably cut this out. I see like you have like bullet points and ideas, and you're like, okay, let's
Sure.
do this one and that one. And it's like I see what you're doing, because I had the same thing in my head where it's like, okay, how can I segue this into something else to have it flowing and feel like
I can fix everything in post.
Yeah.
So.
But even still, just like the little transitions, it's like I was about to get there and you did it for me and made it a lot smoother than what I was going to do, and I appreciate that.
Well, when you've been doing it as long as I have. This is what, my 10th episode? I don't even know how
Right.
many I've got now.
I don't
So-
know. I've seen more than a couple.
Well,
I'm a fan.
We ran into each other at the April Turley Memorial Show, and
We did.
shout out to Eric and Amity.
Yes.
Again, condolences to you guys.
Absolutely.
April was such an amazing person. I mean, hands down, just bulletproof. You guys did so much for the scene. War Legion. I played there. It hit
Yeah.
when she passed, knowing how long she had fought. And,
Much love to both of you. Seriously, it's
Much love to both of you guys. If they get, I don't know if they watch this. They, had the Trench Rat guys on.
Yeah.
Those guys saw it then. That was pretty fun.
yeah.
Those guys are fucking
I've
nuts.
wanted to see them. I went to a show. I just walked into Leftwoods and I was just dressed up just because I wanted to go out and do something. And I met the singer of Trench Rat, and we started talking right away. He's like, "Are you a fan of Billy Strings?" I was like, "I love Billy Strings." And then I mentioned Marcus King, and it was just one of those like, it's a genre of music that I kind of think on and listen a lot to for inspiration.
Marcus King's a young guy. That guy's amazing.
He's incredible.
He just did a thing with Brent Hines. That I think
Yeah.
they call it Four of a Kind.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like mind blowing. It's like they're so good, it almost pisses you off. You're like, fuck this, man. I don't want to do this anymore.
To me, it's funny. Like we had a conversation online earlier, where I woke up and I was just immediately from the moment I woke up, I had a really bad dream that made me self-doubt myself from the moment I woke up. And as soon as I woke up, I made some long dramatic Facebook post. And you were talking about wait until you get to that moment where you say, "Am I too old to do this?"
Oh yeah.
I've already had that thought. It's the reason I'm not doing professional wrestling now. Professional wrestling, no, you have to start at a young age
Surely.
to have the seniority, because WWE themselves and the larger companies, they won't sign you if you're over 32 years old. However, they expect you to have anywhere between 5, if you're really good, to 10 to 12 years experience.
Oh wow.
Yeah, people have been doing this, like the champions right now, and some of the really big stars. It's like, oh, I wanted to do this from the time I was a kid, and I was one of those kids that did that. But Chris Benoit happened when I was a kid.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm out of that generation,
Yeah.
and so it stunted it. And what reinvigorated that love of professional wrestling for me was he's always been the mountaintop of professional wrestling since I got back into it again. His name's Kurt Stallion, and he has now been signed again. He's been recently signed with WWE. He's currently the #1 contender for the Cruiserweight Championship after being there for just over a month.
That's crazy.
I went to high school with him.
You know,
He was a senior in high school when I was a freshman, and he had this just this animal type magnetism towards him.
I used to be such a fan
Insane.
when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was watching, or I was listening to Audience Addict. That's Austin Hooligan's podcast for you guys listen.
Hey, buddy.
Shout out Austin.
Good to see
I
you,
love the
man.
show. Intro music's especially good. And Austin's his second episode was talking about being a better wrestling fan, and it struck me that he was absolutely right. Not just wrestling though. I mean, we need to be better fans. Period. Better fans of music, better fans of art, better. There's so much to take in. We're literally overwhelmed by media. Everyone's trying to create, and everybody's taking it in. So when we take something in, do we casually enjoy it? Do we, we scrutinize it? I mean, people pour themselves into something, a type of art or exhibition that's supposed to be, displayed for other people. And if you're going to be a fan of this stuff, be a good fan. Listen. Pop a stream in, buy a shirt, listen to us. Get a CD, watch a show. It's not just us that create. I'm guilty of it too. I don't just jump on the first thing that Netflix has. I like to look around and find something that I like.
Oh yeah.
And I like to find local art. Local art is very important, and that's local art is it's a type of regional communication. You see this a lot in like hip hop and rap.
Yeah.
They are telling the stories of the streets, man, and that is a real thing.
Everything's about where they came from.
Yeah.
That's why I love Amarillo, because Amarillo absolutely developed my sound. Amarillo absolutely developed who I am as a songwriter, and what I've done while I've been here. But yeah, it's for me. I think that my favorite bands and artists have been local musicians, not just here in Amarillo, because Elton, you got some of my favorite songs right now. Dude Man is my favorite band of the moment right now, because of just I just feel something when I hear it. and I think it's like a rawness and emotional thing
Yeah.
that hasn't been tailored out. But then second to that is actually a hip hop group called the Heart Word Movement out of Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
When I first moved to Philadelphia for professional wrestling, I got there on the 4th of July, and all of downtown Philly was blocked off, giant park, like it was crazy, local bands all over the place and everything. And I saw this group, and they had a full band with like 3 or 4 rappers and people harmonizing in a horn section, and they were incredible. I've got a T-shirt from them, I've got an album from them. They're all on YouTube. And this was a couple of years ago, but yeah, check out the Hard Work Movement. They just have really good, just music in general, composition-wise, lyric-wise. But it was really cool to me. In Texas, everyone from Texas is proud to be a Texan.
Oh yeah.
This was the first time I'd been somewhere, and it's like, no, this is my city, and people were just as proud of being from there as Texans are from this whole giant region that we have. It's like, this is my block, this is where I am, this is where I'm from, and this is what developed my sound, much like I am to Amarillo specifically. And I thought that was just really cool to see, because it's the first time I had seen it personally.
You know, there used to be like like when I was a kid, there was a north side sound and a south side sound. I don't think Amarillo's had that in a long time. I mean, everything's just expanded, far beyond.
Oh yeah.
But I think, of course, Philly's
everything's so blended so much that it's it's almost, and I let's not make this about politics, but depending on the part of 6th Street or the bar you walk into, there's going to be more cowboys with the right wing thing, or more free-minded left-wing people.
Oh, surely, yeah.
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 It's just kind of the thing. Like, people congregate and they're birds of a feather. And I think right now, especially the 2020 and the climate we've had,
it's comfortable being around like-minded people.
Yeah.
Which is comfort.
Yeah.
Doesn't your politics? Honestly, their politics is probably 10% of it. It's just 9% of just someone says the right thing, and I want to be around that person now.
That's more than fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to take a short break. Mr. James Bronco is going to perform a song or two for you. I'll put a bunch of flashy effects on it and make it look cool, and then we'll go from there. So sit tight.
See you in a minute.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. As comfortable I am with the sight of death, I'll never enjoy the smell. On blood and pus-stained wooden floors I'd laid my drunken head. The more I sit and the more I dwell, the harder it is to stand. But the promised dull of alcohol makes it my closest friend. You can find company for $2 a shot after 9 or 100 by the hour. But for the latter deal, go early. For fruit that hasn't soured. A town where the only thing more dangerous than the drugs are the women. Break your soul and laugh as you pick up every piece. I wonder, can crystal meth really be so bad when the fumes always taste so sweet? There's an unspoken rule of Amarillo. It's never said but known by all. Is that the rose of Texas is yellow because it's been recooked to ethanol. Oh, there's blood on my tattooed hands where a ring should have been. I spend my time picking shards of glass embedded in my skin. Used to bet it all on myself and try to get a win, but I was dealt out by my past. A life made for sin. So I sing right here at the local bar where I know my liquor's cheap, and I hope that I can drink enough to pass out instead of dream. And I pray I die before I sleep, 'cause the devil's hunger for my soul to eat. With the past I'm running from keeps calling me. And I'll let cocaine and whiskey lead me to my dreams. Yeah, I'll let cocaine and whiskey lead me to my dreams. Whoa, yeah. So a heartbeat calls me to the bar, sees the shape I'm in, takes a look at my battered hands, says, what kind of life have you lived? I say, don't worry, they look worse than they are. Oh, but I know I'm lucky I got this far. 'Cause every scar on these battered hands is a track mark, whoa, of where I began. So I sing right here at the local bar, where I know my liquor's cheap. And I hope that I can drink enough to pass out instead of dream. And I pray I die before I sleep, 'cause the devil's hunger for my soul to eat. But the past I'm running from keeps calling me. And I'll let cocaine and whiskey lead me to my dreams. Yeah, I'll let cocaine and whiskey lead me to my dreams. Oh. Oh, but you know that in my life, it's just the way it goes. Whoa, it seems. The song is called Better Man. If I were a better man, I'd have fixed my woes. No, I wouldn't have asked you to stay to help kill my ghosts. And I'd have shouted from the mountaintops to let everyone know that I'd got myself a new batch of pain to hide my old soul. If I were a better man, you wouldn't see my pain. No, you wouldn't find me face down, passed out in a pile of cocaine. And I'd sit with your family Sunday morning without these dark tinted shades. And your tears wouldn't fall on holy pages with a painful shame. Well, I tried to warn you of just what you signed on for. 'Cause stories don't have happy endings whenever I'm concerned. But I hope that you can forgive me, and I hope that you understand, and I hope that you might find a better man. If I were a better man, you'd still wear my ring, and we'd have walked down the aisles together while wedding bells sang. And I wouldn't have seen you walk out with your bags in hand, and I might have been sober enough to feel my heart sink. Would I try to warn you of just what you signed on for? 'Cause stories don't have happy endings whenever I'm concerned. But I hope that you can forgive me, I hope that you understand, and I hope that you might find a better man. And that's for you, Sam.
I haven't listened to those guys enough as it is. Coheed's, they put out a lot of incredible stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just epic. And they've got some new stuff. They did.
They've just released a new album last year. My thing about it is, like, I'm a comic nerd and I love superhero stories and all these, like, I love epic tales.
Right.
And nearly everything, they took a hiatus where they just did, like, secular. I say secular because it's just, like, away from everything else. They released 2 albums that were just albums where just making music. But other than that, everything they've done has revolved around a series, which is now like a comic book. Like, everything has been around the story within this universe that they have. And it's incredible, all the tales that they have, everything in there.
They did a real weird cover just recently.
Well, I know that they did a sequel to Jesse's Girl, too.
That's what it was. It
Yeah.
was a sequel to Jesse's Girl.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
That was interesting. I feel like that was just because they were having fun.
Yeah.
They also got together with a couple of groups. Like, they made a couple of super groups during the pandemic with the live streaming and everything, where it's like, let's do with your band and your band and your band, and let's do a cover of, I think they did a cover of Working Man by Rush.
Rush, okay,
Yeah, they did a couple of different covers, like just a couple of super groups that got together just for fun.
You know what's going to happen? So, the fact that I didn't say Rush right out of the bat, there's going to be a couple of you guys that are going to comment on this. I can't believe you didn't know Working Man right out of the bait. Fuck you, I'm tired, all right? Yes,
Yeah.
I knew it was Rush. Give me a break.
I'm drinking coffee, and I'm wearing a cowboy hat, so you're probably expecting me to be a stupid redneck anyway. That's
Yeah.
fine. I don't care. Fuck you.
Well, since you brought it up, that's one of the interesting things.
Wrong pipe.
Sorry.
Oh, that's instant karma. I'm sorry to Rusher, rock gods. They should have been in the Rock Hall of Fame 5 years earlier. I'll go home and slap with a bass. Shit. Okay.
Try that.
Yeah.
The cover of Working Man. Mm-hmm. Speaking of those super groups, I'm like super into 2 Minutes to Late Night right now.
2 minutes to late.
It's this guy who wears a suit and he wears corpse paint, like Abbott, like death metal. His name is.
I already love the look.
His name is Guarsenio Hall. And yeah. And check out. I'll put a link. I'll put a link in the description that links you to 2 Minutes of Late Night. He gets just super badass musicians, and they do absurd covers. They do 4-panel. Like I think it started off as like Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
And they do videos like that.
That just makes sense.
They get guys from Mastodon, from Baroness, from some of these just.
I fucking love Mastodon, man.
Oh yeah. Oh. Those guys are. They saved metal.
Yeah, for sure.
In my opinion, Blood Mountain was to be the album that saved metal.
Yeah.
Because it was going in a weird direction.
And for everybody that's like really, really huge nerds with like tabletop gaming, so Magic the Gathering is now introducing their first like Viking themed like set.
Yeah.
Because all their sets are around like different planes and universes that are all connected versus energy.
Right.
Mastodon is introducing the new set called Kaldheim. It's a Viking themed set. They're making like I think they made a song around one of the like pieces.
Yeah.
They introduced like one of the first cards from it, and like they're bringing it all into 2021 together. So that was super cool. I nerded out over it because I haven't played it in a very long time. I got back into it again after they brought in a monster themed set and did like Godzilla themed cards, which you want to check out. They're so good. I have a couple of them. Like, oh, they're so nice. The one of King Ghidorah, like the artwork is beastly. It's beautiful. Anyway,
I'm gonna bring up a sore subject. What do you think of Godzilla versus Kong? It's supposed to be out this year.
I know. It's look, if Kong wins, I'm gonna disappear for about a week. There's going to be a solid winner. They said there's going to be a solid winner. Look, I am excited about the new monsters. I am excited about Mecha Godzilla coming out because I've seen the toy leaks.
Didn't hear about that one.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've heard a little leak or a spoiler about like the beginning of the fight and how it gets balanced out because King Kong is not going to beat Godzilla.
There's no fucking way, dude. There's no way.
But
he went nuclear. Come on, Kong.
Look. Kong is a slightly more intelligent. He gets a weapon halfway through.
Really?
Yes.
Spoiler alert! I need to like flash. Yeah.
And so it's because I've seen the toys.
Well, I haven't seen the toys. Okay.
Yes, I saw a picture of the toy, and I know what Kong is going to use, and it's just like, motherfucker. Just it's just, and it's like after that, it's like I don't know. I know there's going to be a clear winner. Obviously, if it's just like straight up one fight, there they go, it's all in. It's Godzilla all the way. I know they've got to finagle it. They've got to make it dramatic. Because like this is the fight of the century. Fuck Tyson fighting again. Even before then, I wanted to know.
That Tyson fight was dog shit.
Look, I am really happy to see the man that Tyson is now, pre and post fight.
Sure.
That made me happy. I never got to see Tyson as prime. I was too young to see it. I wanted to.
Expectation versus reality on that fight, though. I mean, I don't know. They laid it out in the rules. There was going to be no KOs. If anybody goes down, they're going to stop the fight, bring everybody up.
Of course.
This is just a points fight. It's an exhibition game, exhibition
that's
match.
all it is. The money they made for charity and the fact that he wants to continue doing these things for charity, it makes me happy to see who he is because I understand what it's like to be swallowed by
Tyson
something.
looked like, he was just cut up. That guy looked so good. I used to, one of the jokes in my stand-up bit is, all right, reality show idea, okay? The theme of the show is, so you think you can touch Mike Tyson's nose. But here's the gag. Mike Tyson isn't in on it. So I think that'd be great television.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You think you can touch Mike Tyson's nose. Okay, anyway.
Here's the thing is that you have to do it like a Jackass bit where he's completely oblivious to it with a hidden camera.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Forget what Mike Tyson's going to do. It's his bouncer before them.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Man.
Can you imagine how worthless you would be being Mike Tyson's bodyguard?
That guy probably has a gun,
It's like, okay, your job is to make sure no one touches Mike Tyson. So, yes, you probably actually do have to put in some work.
Yeah.
But if they got to that point.
If they get past the bodyguard. If you were the bodyguard assigned to Mike Tyson. What was that movie? The Bodyguard's Bodyguard or some shit like that. It was with...
Samuel L. Jackson, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
anyway, it's just an absurd notion. Man, I remember
The
watching
Hitman's Bodyguard.
The Hitman's Bodyguard. That's what it was.
Did you say the Bodyguard's Bodyguard?
Yeah, I can't remember the fucking
It's okay.
title. Yeah,
It's okay.
It was a meh movie.
Yeah.
But I remember watching Tyson. I was playing. I had a band back in the '90s. To date me, anyway. Band back in the '90s that we were playing at this club called Union Station, and we were playing like a Friday night gig.
I think I've heard stories of that place.
It was at 16th and Tyler.
Okay.
And the Tyson fight was on that night. And they paid for advertising for the band and everything. And the Tyson fight was just on TV.
Yeah.
It was just on TV. You didn't have to pay-per-view. It wasn't pay-per-view. I'm so old that this is before pay-per-view. So it was on like CBS or something. And the bar was packed. Probably a couple of hundred people anyway. And we weren't that great of a band. So, I get it. But every single person in that bar was glued to a 32-inch TV in the other room, and we were just playing. And at some point, I remember us even stopping playing because we were trying to see the fight too. It's like, fuck's gonna happen?
Fuck.
Iron Mike, man, Mike Tyson was just so over the top. Then your buddy Brad, he's gonna be a boxer.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Going from wrestling to boxing. That's it. I mean,
well, for him specifically, it's not. So
he has a great
crazy.
shape, so I mean, I get it. He looks like he can handle it.
So it's for Brad specifically. As far as I've known him, we've became friends, and Brad is my big brother. It's literally just through like shit we've been with. It's that kind of thing where it's like family isn't who you're born with; it's who you choose.
That's correct.
And build those relationships with. He's helped me lose the weight to give my little sister my kidney. He's helped me like do all this, gave me a place to live. I came out with and brought him whenever he was in low places.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Back up.
Mm-hmm.
What?
What?
Lose the weight to give your sister a kidney?
Oh yeah. So my sister has lupus, which it's one of those diseases. It's a degenerative disease. Your body attacks itself. Yeah.
Yeah, lupus is gnarly.
Yeah. She had it since she was in 2nd grade.
Oh.
She's like a couple of years younger than I am. I don't tell the story so much because even though I did a good thing, it still has a bad ending.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she had it her whole life, and by the point where she was 18, which is when I gave her my kidney, I had seen her on what we thought was going to be her deathbed 5 times. Swollen body, completely like just joints swollen and everything. Body, her face and skin was purple with blue spots on it, swollen up so much, and she's like struggling to breathe. Mm-hmm. Ugly sight. Seen that, and so it was like, okay, finally it's my turn. I can help because we've been told by the doctors a couple of months before she was 18. It's like, okay, her kidneys, she has renal failure. They're at functioning at 10% capacity. If she doesn't get something, she's gonna die within a year or two. I was doing my own thing, trying to like make a life for myself, but I was really depressed. I was in a relationship that was really toxic for me. It got me out of music for the first time, and so I went headlong into working and eating. I wasn't the kind to like really go out or party or drink or do drugs at the time where I was. I was honestly a really good kid before I came to Amarillo. And this was before that time.
Not the first time I've heard that.
But I had gotten so bad, I was up to 320 pounds. I didn't have a place to live. I had just broken up with her and everything. And then we get that news. I'm like, okay, well, I am going to get my sister my kidney because I can help her out for the first time ever instead of just sit and watch and hope something good might happen. We were in Odessa, it was at the height of the crash of the oil field, but prices hadn't helped anything. Mm-hmm. So the best place I could find was I was paying $500 to crash on a couch in a trap house in the worst part of Odessa. Yeah.
Cool.
There were during that time I was doing that, 3 people had died on the block I was living on. Badass. But yeah, I was doing that. I was working 2 jobs, and I was at OSW under Fred Urban was the guy who ran the school. He's highly respected by wrestlers of the older generation of the early 80s and late 90s. He's rubbed shoulders with quite a few people, and he's passed now as of 2 years.
I see.
But he was a father figure to me, and he was there for Brad and helped pick him up, and he's the reason we were able to meet each other. But I'd reached out to Fred and I said, I just need help. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And he said, come use our facility, train with me. Don't fucking pay me a goddamn dime. We got to save a life here, you know. He understood the weight of what was going on, you know. And that's one thing I loved about Fred is it doesn't matter the amount of life you've lived. It's understanding the weight of the life you have and how it affects. And he absolutely was there, and he introduced me to Brad, who had just come from Tennessee, and staying here in Amarillo for a little bit, went back to Odessa, and then came here to Amarillo again and drugged me along that second time. Fortunately, better or worse, I'm happy I'm here. But Brad, we had met, and we became roommates after that, and moved in with each other, and he helped me work out and train and everything, do everything I needed to do, and in 6 months, I had lost 80 pounds, went from 320 to 240. Yeah. Well, I had really good motivation. It's like either you're going to do this or she's going to die, you know. It's whenever that's the weight you have weighing on you, you're not really too worried about a cheat day, you know, or taking it easy or sleeping in. So yeah, that's kind of what that was, and the process that happened. The surgeon that did it, his name was Dr. Cushing, I believe, in Tyler, Texas. He's moved facility since then, so he's not there anymore. He always had a great rate and great percentage whenever it came to kidney transfers. But he said what I had was like some kind of medical miracle. He said like the blood toxin level in my sister was a 2.7. 1 is the average. She was at a 2.7. And, you know, they were saying after a kidney transfer, hopefully, you know, you're hoping like a 10% increase or, you know, things to get better by that point within 24 hours. And he said rarely does that 10% happen. He told me the next day, your sister's toxicity count has gone from a 2.7 to a 1.3. 24 hours. So that's never happened before.
Okay.
It's taken so well that this kidney is most likely going to last her up to 30 years, projected wise, as everything's going on, you know. And that's what I did. And I did this thing so that way my sister, for the first time in her life, could take control and like actually own her life and live something worth living. Because I'm doing music now. I've done things. I've been told I'm talented, but like my sister had so much more potential than I had. She was her voice, her ability to do all these things. It's just she never understood and she never realized it because
I don't know your backstory. But you keep saying was. Is she no longer with you?
we don't speak anymore.
I see.
She God, it's
Sorry, man. I didn't
no. It's this is weight that's like contributed to my songwriting, and I knew that if we were going to have this interview, I want to talk about the weight behind my songwriting.
Okay.
I don't want to shy away from this at all.
Okay.
But it is heavy.
Yeah. You've got one kidney.
Yeah.
I don't hang out with people with one kidney, man. I'm sorry, it's just fucking weird. I'm just kidding.
That's fine.
I'm kidding.
Better than having 3 testicles. I know a couple.
I'm
of guys
kidneying. That's a bad joke. Sorry. Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
Trying to break it up here a little bit. Okay.
But no, she had gotten government assistance and everything, free aid, like a couple $1,000s just given to her a month, for insurance, for medical, just to make sure that the kidney would take. Instead, she got hooked on heavy drugs, and went from piece of shit drug dealer to piece of shit drug dealer, left the house, got out of college and everything, just said fuck it all, and just like kind of had like this victim mentality of just like, oh well, things are hard and I don't have to worry about it because I can go to the ER anytime I want to, and they can't refuse service to me. And it's just like, it's hard like giving something to somebody, and it's just, I felt like it was tossed away. You know.
I see.
So yes, all this stuff was projected. The last time I had spoken to her, I think about 2 years ago, and I gave it to her I think 4 or 5 years, and I'd overheard her on the phone, the doctor telling her it's like your kidney's back at 10% functionality because she messed it up. Yeah. Yeah.
So you gave her a kidney and she fucked it up.
Yeah. But I did the right thing, and that's what I've realized. I've learned a lot in my life, and it's like, you can only do what you can do, and people have their own weight and accountability.
Big one.
Yeah.
Big one, brother. Damn.
That's one of them.
Gave up a fucking kidney. That's a new one. It's a
She
new one for the
needed-
podcast, guys.
She needed it more than I did,
Yeah. Another one.
you know.
So maybe let's not wreck that one you've got.
Oh, that's why I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my liver I'm messing up. The kidney's fine.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. I had my liver replaced with some, I can't remember the name of the brand. It's just steel wool now, so it's perfect.
That's fucking metal.
Yeah.
Cheers to you, bud. Literally, it's steel.
Yeah.
Got a bad joke.
It is metal.
Sorry.
Dad jokes on Amarillo Rocks, guys.
Yes, absolutely.
So what are your short-term goals for your music?
Short-term goals for my music. Short-term goals for my music. Yeah, I know, words are hard. They were just to get a few more gigs lined up and to be able to play and feel confident enough to get another South by Southwest gig for 2021 because it's
Are they doing South by next year? Like
I don't know, but I know that I still have the promoter's contact information, so I was going to reach out to him sooner. I just wanted to make sure that I was confident myself enough to do it again, which is hard to do because we're always really heavy critiques of ourselves.
Surely.
But then, thanks to you, in the matter of a day,
Things turn around pretty quick.
yeah, it's funny how quick they have because I wasn't expecting any of it, but
We'll get some songs recorded. We'll get some merch out there.
Yeah.
It's easy to do.
it's get merch out, have songs recorded. Hopefully, even if it's just an EP, I was really just hoping to get 3, maybe 2 or 3, 4 if I wrote something else I was really confident in. Get those recorded, have them put out so that a way when people hear me or ask about me, I can give them something to share and continue sharing on. Because that's really the goal. I really, especially after 2020, how everything's happened now, and what's been inspired me is these YouTube channels where they take local artists and people can see them and give them broader surface.
Yeah.
You have equipment. We've spoke about Austin Ulan, who does professional videography. Making a YouTube channel and like building a scene here, like Elton was saying, like he came here from Austin to help build this scene because it's a great scene.
Mm-hmm.
The scene here is more than good enough. The artists here are more than good enough, whether they realize it or not,
Yeah.
that they should be spread out, that they should have like a greater platform so they can, because nobody wants to work a day job and play gigs the rest of their life. Like we want to do this where we can just focus and solely like do it.
Some people do just want to do that.
Some people do.
Kind of like in the song Sultans of Swing.
Yeah.
The gentleman is referenced in he's got a daytime job. He's doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
Or Friday nights,
Yeah.
picks up that old guitar. Anyway.
Yeah. It's just like,
do have that.
yeah.
As old as I am, I'll probably never give up on the music dream.
Yeah.
I still got a lot to say. I wished I knew then what I know now.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when it comes to lottery numbers. But the term hindsight is 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and we often only say that when we regret something.
Mm-hmm.
And 2020 has been an amazing year of regret. Like it has fucking sucked. Not to jump on a bandwagon or anything here, but that's
No, absolutely.
we're coming to a close on it. I feel like honestly, it's a weird correction. Everything that has suffered. I mean,
Yeah.
I lament all of those people that have been lost. I've lost people.
Yeah.
Lost my mom. Not to COVID, but I mean, it was,
Just the fact
it
that
was very, very real. It was a real threat to her.
Yeah.
People close to me have lost people. It's just this weird. In the stock market, they call it a correction, which means the bottom drops out and it rebuilds.
I feel like that's probably the best way to put it in terms of like how my life has been for 2020, because I thought of 2020 as a gestation period.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I know, man. I know.
Yeah. Well, I'm fine.
Yeah.
The some are calling the last or the current president a correction in the political system, and I kind of subscribe to that. But
Yeah.
something catastrophic has to happen for the infrastructure, for the status quo to be adjusted, and to see what things can be hit by.
Yeah.
Our institutions will stand, but they've certainly been tested.
Yeah.
I don't want to dive off onto that.
Right.
But,
I mean,
this
it's
isn't a political show.
it's topical, but at the same time, it's like we're musicians. It's like we see the climate, we understand, and I feel like to be a musician and to get into songwriting after a while, when you've done it, it's like things get a bit redundant. Where it's like, okay, here's the same show. Is it worse or is it less than it was before? However, at the same time, it's still very much the same.
Do you have any recorded music like out or anything that you've recorded that's been produced or anything like that?
None at all.
Not yet.
None.
I mean, trust me, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go over some of the things that we do here at Rowdy Music Factory. Is the goals are to help local artists develop their craft, record their music, distribute their music through all the the channels that be. We want to do video recording, promotion, merch. Even if you don't have any hands-on merch, show you how to get merch out there, to get your name out there. That's a type of thing that I'm trying to do for next year. This show, I hope, is reflective of the scene. I'm trying to get more, a spread of musicians out there. I need more. Hey, you hip hop guys, y'all hit me up.
Erratic Soul. Can I give a shout out to Erratic Soul?
Erratic Soul.
He
shout
is
out.
incredible.
Is that Amarillo guy?
Yes. I opened up, I did my first gig pre-Rona, not last night, but the night before at Scooter's opening for Touching Voodoo, but Erratic Soul was right before me. And I met him at that last open mic that we did. Remember the rapper that we did then?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great writer, and he's done more new stuff, and not only does he write his own lyrics, he produces his own beats and mixes everything.
see.
Yeah. It's literally all him, and Scooters was the wrong venue. It's definitely more bikers and blue collar guys and vets and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a huge fan of him. Like, it'd be great to have him on the show. He deserves
Okay.
it. He deserves a spot because he's someone else that just needs a bigger platform to see things on.
Yeah, well, what's his real name? Do you know? Oh,
I've got it on Facebook.
It doesn't matter. Right?
Yeah.
Soul, hit me up. We'll get you on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, I've had mostly my friends on here. I can't think of. Of course, I'm friends with a lot of musicians here.
Yeah.
That's what we do. But
It's easy to do that. But yeah, he's somebody, he doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know who to talk to.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that I met him because it's like, okay, cool. Let's get somebody else who's super talented somewhere where they should be.
I'm putting a rap on my album.
Yeah, it's Patrick was going to do it, right?
Patty's doing it.
Yeah, I wanted to hear that because you played me a little bit of your album earlier that you did,
Yeah.
and I'm a fan of it. And I was about to ask about that, but
He's-
one conversation goes from another.
It does.
Yeah.
He's probably going to track that in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, he hasn't done it yet?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
I haven't heard that yet.
'Cause I was excited to hear it.
I just sent him the song. We just recorded the song. Finished recording the song 10 days ago, and so I sent him a rough
shit.
copy of it just to get the wheels turning. He came up
Yeah.
with some crazy concepts, stuff that was well out of the box, even for my thinking, that I was
Yeah.
really impressed with. So we're stoked on getting Patty on there.
Well, I couldn't touch what you guys do because whenever my writing comes from somewhere like real and practical for me, as opposed to like.
You weren't kidding when you said it was dark, though. That was some pretty dark stuff.
Oh,
But
I told you,
beautiful. It's beautiful,
I appreciate it.
but dark.
Yeah, it just is what it is. It's
I am a dark person too.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to write upbeat stuff. I'm just not that upbeat. I try not to. Or not.
I don't even try. Like I knew what I was going to do at first, and when I finished writing my first song, I was like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I am. This is what I'm thinking. I'm not going to try to be something else, but at the same time, I'm not going to apologize for it.
Right.
I mean, anytime I've gone on stage, whether it was like an open mic or a couple of songs, never apologized for it. It's like, here's the tone.
Yeah.
And I didn't care.
There are so many guys out there. I know of several that can play, that do write, and those poor bastards just sit at home. They don't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, man, come on, do an open mic, do something
Yeah.
that fills this creative void. See what it turns into. We used to do the show years ago called Grumpy Old Men. There's Skits and I and a couple of others. And we'd set up at the 806. And guys that played, I remember Nick Compton was one of the guys. We'd get these guys out and they would just play songs.
Yeah.
And it was purely and simply for the fact that our buddies that weren't regular playing musicians, simply for our buddies to just say, hey, I've got a gig Friday night. Come
There's
see me
something
play.
to do.
Yeah. Just something different from their norm. They're not going to sit at home and play video games.
It's so much.
work
It's
on the
it's
car,
so
you
funny
know?
to look at it though, because literally whenever you put like the label on it, I'm just like, this is a gig.
Yeah.
People like everyone, because whenever you do take music seriously, a lot of times that little next step is so hard to achieve that when you put the label of this is the next step, it's not an open mic. This is a gig. It turns into this huge thing, and people
That's a
just
good
doubt.
point.
People doubt themselves.
Yeah.
They doubt themselves so much. That's one thing I learned in professional wrestling is that people aren't afraid of failing. They're afraid of succeeding because it's like, oh shit, I actually did it. Now what?
That's a fucking...
I caught the fucking car. What do I do with the car?
Yeah.
You know?
That is a beautiful way to shut this off. That is the best way. You put the nail. You nailed. There's a colloquialism there somewhere.
Yeah.
Hit the nail on the head. Hit the head on the, I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
that was fantastic.
That's a wrap, folks. We appreciate you.
Guys.
Thank you guys for listening.
James Bronco, Jimmy Thompson. Look for him on Facebook. He's going to have some shows coming up, I assume.
Yeah. Well,
We're going to have some recorded music out there.
I'm on a shower curtain now.
You can get a you can get a James Bronco shower curtain. I'll put links in the description.
Oh, I've got the perfect thumbnail for you too. We
Yeah.
both have to flip off the camera at the same time. Just
Yeah.
smile, real big.
Fair enough. Well, I'm sorry I haven't done more shows, guys, but we will do more. Amarillo Rocks, you guys rock. Y'all stay safe. Wear your mask, you fucking morons. Let's get through this. Love you guys.
Bye, guys.